One evening, Thomas brought his last train to the junction. Percy was glad to see him. "Are you on your way to the big station, Thomas?" "Yes, I am. Why?" "Because I'm going there too. I think something's up." Toby looked up at the sky. "Where?" "Not up there. Down here," laughed Thomas. "How can something be up when it's down?" Thomas was too excited to explain. "Bust my buffers! Look over there!" Mavis, Boko, Bill, Ben, Donald, Oliver, and Douglas paraded past. "Good evening, you three," whistled Donald. "Aren't we all a fine sight?" "Very splendid indeed," admired Toby.
Just then, 7 engines from the other railway came puffing through the station. "I know those engines," said Percy. "I told them I had a promise once when I went to the quay. What's going on?"
The fat controller was waiting for them there. "The people of England," he said, "read about us in the books, but they do not think that we are real. So," he continued, "I am taking my engines to England to show them. Hurrah, 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 hurrah!" The engines whistled. The fat controller held his ears. "Silence!" he bellowed. "We start the day after tomorrow at 8 a.m. Meanwhile, as these engines have kindly come from the other railway to take your place, you will show them your work tomorrow."
While Annie and Clebo were getting ready for the big day, Thomas showed an engine named Ginty how to shunt the coaches properly. But Thomas had grown too big for his own buffers, and started bragging constantly. "You know, one time I actually raced a bus," said Thomas to Ginty. "He passed me right through the buffers, like this." But Thomas wasn't seeing where he was going, and bashed right through the buffers. What, I mean, is that really it? That's the big crash for the 100th episode? What were you expecting, Ginty? Said Thomas. "I don't know, I was thought of something more suspenseful and exciting. You simply crashed over the buffers. This is really a big reason for you not to go." "Shh," said Thomas. "Don't spoil it later. I got a better idea." "All right, show me." "Okay. Now you can continue. All right?"
Then Thomas made his mistake. "Just like this," he boasted. No one was hurt, but Thomas's front was badly bent. They telephoned to Sir Topham Hatt. "I'll send up the workmen," he said. "But if they can't mend Thomas in time, we'll have to go to the big city without him." Poor Thomas. 8 o'clock next morning, the engines waited at the junction.
Percy and Toby were placed on flatbeds next to James and Duck. The flight controller looked at his watch. "If Thomas isn't here one more minute, we'll leave." Just then, Thomas made it to the station with Annie and Clarabelle just in time. "I hope we're not too late, sir," said Thomas. But thankfully they weren't. The guard blew his whistle, and the engine set off.
"Look out, big city! Here we come!"
At the big city, all the people were amazed at the non-faceless engines that our controller had presented. They could not believe an engine could have a face, let alone have a personality. At first, the engines were excited by this, but they soon got bored and later went home. But everyone that day could agree that no other engines were more spectacular than the Fat Controller's engine.